the Eastern Front, the largest, deadliest theater in human history. Millions of men, thousands of aircraft, and a war that would be won or lost in the skies. Today, we count down the 10 most significant aircraft that fought for the Soviet Union in World War II. An American fighter, rejected by Americans, rejected by the British, and yet cherished by the Soviets. The Bell P-39 Airacobra was a radical design. Engine behind the pilot, tricycle undercarriage decades ahead of its time, and a 37mm cannon in the nose that hit like a wrecking ball. Western pilots hated its ceiling. On the Eastern Front, that barely mattered. Combat happened low and fast, hugging the earth. The P-39 was tough, forgiving on rough airfields and brilliantly maneuverable. Soviet pilots called it Kabrushka, Little Cobra. They loved it. Under Lend-Lease, roughly half of all P-39s built went to USSR. Ace Grigory Rechkalov, born 1920, flew the Airacobra to 48 aerial victories. The aircraft America discarded became a Soviet weapon of war. The DB-3 was the Soviet Air Force's first all-metal long-range bomber. Impressive in concept, punishing to build, over 30,000 man-hours per aircraft. Engineers rebuilt it from the ground up, drawing on American construction techniques. The DB-3 F/production time nearly in half, eventually far more. It was effectively a new aircraft. When Germany invaded in 1941, it was thrown into a tactical role it was never designed for. It bled, but its true strength was range. Flying from Soviet soil, it struck Berlin, redesignated the IL-4 in early 1942. It became a genuine strategic weapon. Its torpedo variant served from Western operations to the final frenetic days of the Pacific War. 5,256 IL-4s were built, a bomber that survived misuse and found its purpose. The Lag-3 was a failure. Soviet pilots called it the Lakarovny Garantirovny Grob, the varnish-guaranteed coffin. Something had to change. Designer Semyon Lavochkin made a bold call, swapped the inline engine for a Shvetsov M82 radial. In December 1941, just 2 months after design work began, the La-5 flew. The improvement was enormous. Then came the M82FN, fuel-injected, 1,850 horsepower at takeoff. The La-5FN broke 400 miles per hour and fought the Luftwaffe on equal terms. Ivan Kozadub, the greatest Allied ace of the entire war with 64 kills, scored most of his victories in this aircraft. Then Lavochkin refined it again. Intake repositioned, drag reduced, pilot visibility improved. The result, the La-7, exceeded 410 miles per hour, built largely of wood, the last great wooden fighter of the war, and arguably the finest Soviet fighter to fly in it. Andrei Tupolev was a genius. He was also, at the time, a prisoner, serving a sentence for fabricated espionage charges. His bomber was so stigmatized by association with his name, it was referred to only as Aircraft 103. It first flew on January 29, 1941, and hit 395 miles per hour, faster than virtually any fighter then in service. The original Mikulin AM 37 engines proved unreliable. Replacement radials cost speed, down to 328 miles per hour. But 328 miles per hour in a bomber carrying 6,600 pounds of bombs, with 5 defensive weapons, was still extraordinary. The final 2S variant, powered by 1,850 horsepower Ash 82FN engines, was one of the finest medium bombers of the war. Designed in captivity, flown with devastating effect. The Soviet Union had one strategic heavy bomber in World War II. Just one. The Petlyakov P-8 first flew in 1936, a 4-engine giant designed to double performance of its predecessor. Over 5,300 combined horsepower, an 11,000-pound bomb load, range stretching 2,300 miles. It bombed Berlin in 1941. Early survival rates were strong, until German defenses adapted. But Soviet doctrine had no real place for strategic bombers. Tactical air power dominated all thinking. Only 93 P-8s were ever built. Its most famous flight wasn't over a target. In 1942, Foreign Minister Molotov flew a P-8 to Washington via Britain, signaling Soviet long-range aviation capability to the world. Rare, powerful, perpetually underused. Don't let the biplane fool you. The Polikarpov P-2 was a fabric-covered trainer. In the hands of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, an all-female unit, it became one of the most feared weapons on the Eastern Front. The Germans called them the Nachtvechsen, the night witches. Flying after dark, engines throttled back to near silence, sometimes cut entirely on the attack run. P-2s materialized from the void, dropped their bombs, and vanished. They flew below the stall speed of German fighters. Their wooden canvas construction was nearly invisible to radar. On one single night, crew members Yekaterina Ryabova and Nadezhda Popova flew 18 missions. Simple, slow, absolutely terrifying. Estimates put total production at up to 32,000, more than any other biplane in history. It began as a pressurized high-altitude fighter. It became the Soviet Union's most important tactical bomber. The conversion from a Vi-100 interceptor to dive bomber took just 45 days. Pressurized cockpit removed, superchargers stripped, wing completely redesigned. Top speed, 360 miles per hour, matching the best fighters in service in 1940. Stalin considered it so vital he ordered mass production before the prototype had flown. Early losses were savage. Crews rushed into combat before they were ready, but experience built fast. The P-2 became a precision instrument of destruction. In July 1941, 6 P-2s led by Captain A. Surtslin attacked Romania's Ploiești oil fields. Romanian authorities reported 100 aircraft in the raid. It was 6. They destroyed 250,000 tons of oil. 11,074 P-2s were produced. Everyone earned its place. In the mid-1930s, the stubby little fighter was arguably the best in the world. The Polikarpov I-16 gave birth to the modern fighter. Cantilever monoplane, retractable undercarriage, enclosed cockpit. Revolutionary. It fought over China, Mongolia, and Finland before the World War began. By 1941, it was aging badly. The Bf-109 outclassed it in speed and firepower. Even Ju-88 bombers were faster. But in expert hands, its agility kept it dangerous long past its prime. A footnote worth remembering. The Polikarpov Bureau also designed the I-185, 390 miles per hour, 3 20mm cannons, a genuine pleasure to fly. It lost out to the less advanced, but more production-ready La-5. History rarely rewards the best design. It rewards the available one. When Alexander Yakovlev unveiled his I-26 fighter in 1940, Soviet authorities were so impressed they gave him the Order of Lenin, 100,000 rubles, and a car. The aircraft entered mass production as a Yak-1 within weeks of its first flight. Small, fast, maneuverable, easy to build, exactly what a nation going to war needed. But haste had a cost. The Yak-1 was immature, needing thousands of individual improvements. Still, experienced pilots made it work, among them Lydia Litviak, one of history's few female fighter aces. The series evolved fast. The Yak-7, built from a trainer variant, proved superior to its own parent design. Its lineage produced the Yak-9, perhaps the defining Soviet fighter of the mid-war years. Then came the Yak-3 in 1943, a 20mm cannon in the nose, 2 12.7mm machine guns in the cowling, a top speed that left Luftwaffe pilots struggling to disengage. The Yakovlev family didn't just improve. It accelerated, getting sharper at precisely the pace the war demanded. For Britain, the Spitfire is a national symbol. For Russia, that symbol is the Il-2. Joseph Stalin called as essential to the Red Army as bread and air, not poetry, operational fact. The Ilyushin Il-2 was built around an armored shell, a lesson drawn directly from the carnage of the Spanish Civil War. That shell protected the crew, the engine, the fuel, the radiators. It was a flying tank. It hunted armor. It shattered supply columns. It provided close air support on a scale the world had never seen. It is the most produced military aircraft in history. 36,163 IL-2s rolled off Soviet production lines. Known as a Sturmovik, the attacker, it was present at every turning point: Stalingrad, Kursk, Berlin. The IL-2 didn't just fight the war on the Eastern Front. It defined it. 10 aircraft, 1 war, a front that consumed millions of lives and reshaped the modern world. These machines and the pilots who flew them helped decide the outcome of the deadliest conflict in human history. Subscribe for more deep dives into the aircraft aces and battles that shaped World War II.